Wilmer has that I've been up for a couple of days look.
Yes.
What's that about? Why do you look like that, Wilmer?
You know, I decided that in order for me to lose as much sleep as I possibly can, I should have a second child.
Yeah. That'll do it.
I thought I would do it. I said, let me try it. A lot of my friends have tried this. Like, I don't want to sleep anymore.
Because you don't have enough going on.
No, and I just thought to myself, like, besides all the things that are happening and going on, like, how can I put the icing on my sanity?
Right.
Welcome, everyone. This is Wilmer Valderrama.
This is Freddy Rodriguez.
This is the Dos Amigos podcast. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for tuning in and downloading and watching it on YouTube and all that. Thank you also to all of our guests. We've had some really great guests in the last couple of episodes. I hope you've all enjoyed the wisdom some of them have brought to this space of serenity and cigarros. We always smoking a cigar on
I know. What's up, man? You have supposed to be. Can you all see that back there? Wilmer has his great humidor.
We gotta just figure it, right? You know, we'll have the cigar episode for sure.
I remember a couple of months ago, you brought out a cigar and you were like, you were talking the cigar up.
Yeah.
And you were telling me how fancy it was.
It made me.
But then you put it back in the humidor. I put it in
because I just felt like, okay, you know, I just came back from vacation. I had a couple of cigars.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have to have it that day, but we have to figure out because we got to have the cigar. My wife had. My lady had our second child.
Yes.
You know, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
she is an absolute hero. She did incredible. And I am in awe of what women do.
Were you there?
Yes. This is my second time witnessing my lady bring miracles to the earth.
It's pretty amazing, right?
It's just, yes. I mean, were you there when? It's unbelievable. You know, like it's impossible to not be like, can I rub your feet today?
Right.
You know, because the fact that we don't have to push a baby out, it's like we need to do more for them, right? But it was really beautiful. Shout out to everybody at Cedar Sinai, you know, Joanna Kennedy, our friend over there, who really helped us with everything. But you know, Cedars are really taking care of us. 2 children now there. They're just unbelievable.
Oh, she was born there too. Oh yeah.
And he was born on 7/11. Which a lot of people called me immediately like, wow, how cool, free Slurpies.
As if you planned it that way.
Yeah, I mean, we nailed it. He was supposed to be born on the 25th. That was the due date, and he came on the 11th, which was great because I was going back to work on the 16th. So he gave me a couple of days just to be home before I had to get clocked back into NCIS. But
where'd the name come from? So
Wolf?
Unique.
Well, so for like so many years, the wolf has been my spirit animal. I just love the wolf mentality, the pack mentality, the family mentality. I love the way they organize for survival and all that stuff, and how they ride for each other, you know. And so I always kept with that and my friends, and you know, like we're all kind of been subliminally the wolf pack, you know. So Amanda surprised me with that. She's like, "Hey, I really like wolf," and I was like.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say like I loved it too, so it'd be like, it's your idea. Yes, it's your idea. You know, I would have totally.
You're like, it's okay. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds like great. Well, you named this one, you know, because I obviously got away with mine with Nakano, you know. But we both agreed Wolf was a cool spirit, you know. And then his middle name is Monte, and Monte in kind of in Italian means mountain. So we thought. You know, she's the ocean. Her middle name is Oceana.
Oh, right.
You know, so we thought she's the tranquility and the balance of the ocean, and he's the, you know, she's the ocean to, you know, to his mountain.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's been kind of cool to see if we're no longer here with them.
Yeah.
That they know they can have each other and coexist and stuff. So they became a little bit more profound than just a name. But so he's the wolf and she's the honorable geisha, the female warrior.
How do you feel about getting ready to wipe butt again at 3 a.m?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
and I'm glad you asked. And this is going to also turn into an advice to every dad out there, whether it's your first or your second or your third. I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
Change the first diaper and change as many diapers as you possibly can. Because it is it is a privilege and an honor to change your son's or daughter's culito.
to wipe that butt.
To wipe that culito.
Yeah.
You know? Like that is the most beautiful offering of care and nurturing your kid. And I'm going to tell all dads also that change as many diapers as you can until they turn 1 or so. So then your wife will never be able to say that you never changed diapers.
Are you guys on shifts? Are you the 3 o'clock in the morning guy to wipe the diaper, to wipe the butt, or are you?
Well, we have to change his diaper every time he feeds.
Yeah.
Because every time he feeds, it gets very festive.
It gets festive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like confetti. Like there's just like confetti little popper.
Yeah.
That happens as soon as he tastes that delicious dairy.
Right. And he's not on solid. Wait till he gets on. You remember that, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And that's what I said.
Sweet
like,
potato
change every diaper
and
until
like,
they have solids.
Right.
Could be like, hey, I've changed every diaper until they have solids. Can I get a break?
And then when it's 3 a.m. and he starts to have solids, and she's elbowing you to get up.
Yeah. Then I gotta take one for the team, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I actually don't really mind it very much. It's part of it, right? It's like part of the whole thing. And you just think about this. One day, you're not gonna change a diaper, and you realize, wow, that was a moment, right? And he went, and it's no longer here. But Nakano, like, she's, you know, she goes and takes care of her own business, and like, and that feels funny because she's like, I did it all by myself, Daddy, and I'm like, but I want to help now. You know, it's very funny. But yeah, anyways.
Is there anything that you learned from your experience with Nakano that you're like, I wish I would have known that with Nakano, but now that I do know that, I'm going to apply it with Wolf?
I think like we practice a certain level of frequency at the house. You know, like there's no like high tensions. You know, we don't have discussions or arguments in front of the kids. You know, like there's a level. We also have to show a certain level of balance when we deal with adversity in front of our kids. You know, so they understand that's also a choice for them. I think that's the biggest one for me. It's just to say, hey, you know, take a deep breath first.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we've tried to teach Nakano. As soon as she's feeling her emotions are hard to control, hold on, let's slow it down. Take a deep breath. One more time. And now when you have your attention, okay, tell me what's going on. This and this and this. Okay, cool. Then let's go, you know, let's change your socks, and maybe it doesn't hurt anymore when you wear your little jellies, you know, like. Yeah. So it's like stuff like that like there's simple equations that if you offer that they have the choice to slow things down a little bit so they can see the clear path, maybe it turns into some type of like, how do I see down the road? So I think that's the one thing I think I really want to pass down.
Why did you make that conscious choice with her?
You know, I think I saw, when I was really young, I saw something with my family, my mom and my dad, that should have been a more frantic reaction. Right? There was something that happened, you know, and it was like really, really impactful, right? It's like we were at a soccer field, you know, and, you know, some guys came up and confronted a guy, and it like escalated very quickly. And my dad, without missing a beat, he's like, grab your soccer ball, grab your things, whatever, we're gonna get in the car. He gets in the car, and then we left. But other people were like running and this and whatever, you know, and it was the way that my dad and my mom reacted to this high moment of intensity that told me, oh, I had a choice to kind of slow things down a little bit. Right. Take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. What are the steps? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and I've carried that since I was a little boy. You know, I haven't reacted with emotions first. You know, I kind of just like listen first. And I think that's the thing. He listened to his environment. He did what he had to do to get us out of there. And then he made me feel like, oh, that's how you react to high tense situations. Then I had to teach myself, which they didn't teach me this part, because they themselves, as you know, our parents swallow the trauma. Right. They don't deal with it. They don't talk about it, whatever. Then I had to teach myself later to like, how do I let it go? You know, how do I process it? Right? How do you grab that energy that you not suppress, but you process differently, and like, what did it turn into for you later? And you know, and it's not a very weird mathematical scientific equation. It's just more of like, Am I okay with what happened? Mm-hmm. Check with yourself. You feel good? Okay, cool. On to original programming, you know? But I think that's kind of where it came from.
And there's also, you know, that saying, I don't remember what the person said. I only remember how they made me feel. Mm-hmm. You ever heard that saying?
Yeah.
I always feel like with kids, you know, at that age, they only absorb how you make them feel, right? And so, like, to your point, like if there is tension in the house, if there is arguing, you know, they don't know what the argument is about, right? They're only aware of how you're making them feel in that moment.
Right.
And so by you approaching it and being calm and you know, everything you just said, it's controlling how you're making her feel at the stage.
Because is there a moment for you that when you were growing up that also made you, oh, this is how I handle this, this is how I deal with this? Or like, is there something you had to relearn to do later when you realized maybe it wasn't?
Yeah. I made a conscious decision. You know, I grew up around gangs and drugs and all that stuff my whole life, and I made a real conscious decision that when the kids were coming up, I wasn't going to put them in that environment. You know, I you know, as much as people made fun of me at the time, they're like, "Oh, you're moving to the suburbs." I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to surround them around that. And sometimes what happens when you grow up in that environment, and especially when you have kids when you're younger, people are like, "Oh, you know, you're not raising your kids with any street smarts."
Right.
But I didn't care about that. I just cared about not surrounding them with the trauma that I underwent, that I saw, and how gangs and drugs and all that stuff that I was surrounded with, how it made me feel. Right, as we talk about feel, you know, and you talk about suppressing trauma. It was a lot of trauma that myself and my brothers underwent growing up in that type of environment, that we found that we had to kind of suppress and deal with it when we got older, you know, because when you grow up in that kind of environment, you're just trying to survive. Right. And so you're suppressing that, you know. Right. So anyway, I just think that applies to everything, you know, whether it's Nakano at home and you choosing not to argue in front of her and stuff, you know, like at the end of the day, when you're young, you're only absorbing how people and environments are making you feel. Yeah. You know.
Also, the biggest one I think to me is how you treat others, right?
Yeah.
Is you know, you could be flowing how you used to flow with everyone, but somebody else is now watching. And you don't teach them how to handle their feelings, or you don't teach them how to communicate with the world. They watch you do it, and then they repeat it. Right?
Interesting.
So and you said that to me. You know, you said they're always watching. You said that
they're always watching, man.
They're always watching. They're always paying attention to everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that with Nakano since you and I talked about that a couple years.
You notice her always watching?
Absolutely. I see the way she walks into a room. She comes to visit me on set, and she's saying hi to everyone, shaking everyone's hands. She gives hugs when they're due, and
interesting.
And, you know, and like she shows up, and she doesn't fear strangers, right? But she knows that when daddy and mommy move, she has to go too. She doesn't stay with anyone. But she's also understands the importance of like, hi, how are you? I'm Nakano. And it's like...
And you think that's from watching you do that?
Yeah, because I come in, I'm like, hello, I'm here. You know what I mean? And like the thing about that is that, you know, you set a tone for how you want that moment to be for you. Yeah. And she has control over that. And I noticed that, you know, and I love, you know, we both love people. We walk into a room, we're going to have a conversation with anyone who wants to have a conversation, right? Yeah, yeah. And she's kind of developing that. She comes to work, she goes to a restaurant, the way she talks to waiters and whatever, she's like very open. She's like enjoying this and bringing people into her own little experience, which I think is really healthy.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, even to this day, you know, my kids are older and they still, like every once in a while will say something and I'm like, how do you know that? And they're like, oh, because I was watching you, Dad. I saw you did this, or I saw you say this, or I saw, and I'm like, damn it, even when they get older.
You were watching.
They're always watching, always watching.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We're talking about wiping butt and diapers and all that. And I text this to you when the day you had your child, and you and I were texting back and forth. And I said to you, wait until your kids turn 21, for example, and you get to have a beer with them.
Oh, God.
And you get to look them in the eye and you get to say, I used to wipe your butt, man. I used to wipe your butt. I say that to my kids all the time. I used to
true.
wipe your butt. All right, Dad. You say
Yeah,
that
it's
all the time.
crazy.
But it's wild when you look at your kids at that age and they're older and you're like, wow, like you're a grown man, but I used to wipe your
I
ass.
can't even. I mean, my daughter's 4 years old, and
Yeah.
I look forward to to like having have a little glass of champagne with my daughter on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Or like going on vacation, having pina coladas together, like like that kind of silly stuff. Like you're celebrating life with your kids. It's a different feeling, And
How do you think she's going to handle? Was she receptive to his?
She loves him.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my baby, this. I want you to meet my baby. I want you to meet my
baby. She calls him my
that's
baby. Not my brother.
Somebody gave me a word of advice that I thought was super important. Someone said, make sure that she knows that this is also happening to her.
Huh.
So when you have an only child and then you have a second child come in, there could be that first impression. How you prep your first child for the arrival of the second is absolutely everything. And I realized that the more and more I thought about it while he was in the belly, the more it was reinforcing to Nakano that this is happening for all of us, for the family. This is for you. This is going to be your baby too.
Right.
So she took a level of ownership. So she was asking, when is the baby coming? When is the baby coming?
Yeah.
So when the baby came, she already wanted to hold them. She wanted to put a different outfit on.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to hold and it's a really cool thing. And it really did make a difference in her because right now she has a level of ownership. When she comes home from her little school or camp, or daily camp over here, she runs in. She's like, I gotta go kiss my baby. And then she like rolls into his room, kisses him, says hi, tells him one or two things about school.
Yeah.
And then goes out about her day. Or like she's gonna go to bed. She's like, she has to kiss him goodnight because that's her baby. So that's been really cool.
So you think there's like a maternal instinct that's kicking in at this
because if it was the other way around, I mean,
boy,
it would be different. It'd be a pillow in somebody's face.
Right.
No. But yeah, so I think Nakano has really taken ownership of that, and really has appreciated, what it means like to her. She's like wanting to share her toys until he reaches out for it, right? Like we'll see when that happens, But
when she's
for now, she's taking ownership and she loves it.
Did your parents ever tell you how it was? Because you're the oldest, right? Did your parents ever like tell you stories about how it was when your sisters came home, and then what your reaction?
Horrible.
You were you were horrible.
I was horrible. I mean, I was like, is this a transformer? You know what I mean? Especially Stephanie. So I was a little older with Stephanie, but with Marilyn, we were 1 year apart.
Right.
So it was kind of like, it wasn't as bad.
Right. Yeah, you're apart. Yeah.
But I just was like I was a tiny earthquake. So my mom has been very open about saying that she really wanted to send me back, but really couldn't. But then as time went along, I put my efforts into soccer and other things or whatever, and I had other outlets, so I became a lot more manageable. But my mom was like, man, I hated going to a restaurant with you. It's like, it was really bad.
Oh, would you act up at restaurants?
Mess on the table, running around the table, underneath the table. It's like...
You were that guy.
I was that dude.
Yeah.
I was that dude.
Screaming at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Screaming on an airplane like that kid.
I think, she did say in an airplane, I couldn't just sit still.
Yeah.
I had to be jumping. I had to be running around or whatever. So shout out to all the parents who put up with all of that stuff early in your years. And don't feel shy to tell your sons and daughters, this is how you used to be.
Right.
I
do it. We share that with them, how they were. My boys were but they were cool, man, and thank God they were pretty well behaved for the most part. I was such a young dad. I'm like, I don't know how I would have taken having sort of a hurricane in the house. My youngest was a little more of like a hurricane, but for the most part, it was good. And they were partners in crime, so they had each other. So now you've given Nakano a partner in crime. And they're only, 4 years apart?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
4 and change, yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
How far are you and your youngest sister?
Younger, I think 8 years.
8 years?
About 8.
Oh, wow. Are you really 8 years older? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And you and Stephanie are only a year apart.
Me and Marilyn 1 year apart.
Oh,
Stephanie
Marilyn.
is 8 years.
8 years apart.
And so she was the baby always, right?
Yeah.
Like she came so late in the game.
Wow, I never realized that she was that much younger than you.
But she's phenomenal. She's like such a great chick. She's hilarious. She's dry, sarcastic, a little grumpy, but she's awesome.
And and how are your parents reacting to the new addition to the family?
I mean, it's true what they say. Like your parents are gonna love your children more than they loved you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You see that already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever they want, they get. You know. But you know, we all know that we are gonna eventually inherit the job. Good cop, bad cop. Like who's the good bad cop in your house?
I'm the good cop. Yeah, Elsie's the bad cop. She was, like I said, that's one of the downfalls of having kids. You're so young,
Right.
Like I was like a teenager, so I was still a kid myself, But I was firm. But she was definitely a little more firm than I was.
Do you feel like you were subliminally defaulting into what your parents did for you and with you?
I think so, right? Because
I'm using the same terminologies, and I look myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
What's happening to me?
Yeah. Yeah, because what other example do you have, right? Unless you're like reading parenting books. I didn't read any parenting books. I was just like, my parents were old school, and I think they did a pretty good job. So I just reverted to like what they did. Minus. And both of our parents are from different, mine from Puerto Rico, but different sort of countries per se, right? And I think that sometimes the parenting style is a little different from over there, right? You got the chancleta, right?
I'm literally, did you see it in my eyes? I believe in the chancleta because the image of the chancleta alone inspires discipline. You don't even have to use the chancleta the unlikely way from your feet to your hands, right? Like you don't have to engage that. Just the symbol of the chancleta is like, I don't know what that feels like. And that's what
I don't want to know what it feels like.
And I don't want to find out. But that's what my dad did to me. Like my dad used la correa, right? He used the belt.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that was going to feel like. And because I didn't know what it felt like, I would just drop it. Whatever I was doing.
So it never got there?
My dad never really hit me. There was one time that my dad used a shoelace.
A shoelace?
Yeah, he dunked it in water.
Huh.
He told me to put my hand on the front.
Yeah.
And hit the top of my hand. Not the palm, just over the head, like over the hand. And he just like whipped it one time.
Why your hand? Were you stealing?
No, my hand, because my mom was trying to reprimand me, and I kind of stood up with my mom, and it looked like I was gonna, raise my hand.
Yeah.
I didn't technically raise my hand. Right?
Yeah.
But like it looked like I was standing up to my mom, and my mom's like, "Oh, okay, that's what we're gonna do now." She called my dad. My dad drove home from work.
He drove home from work,
and my mom intersected him at the front yard. And all I'm hearing is like, she's like, I'm just seeing their mouths move.
Yeah.
I can't hear it. But there was a clear shot from my bedroom across the living room and into the front and out the front door into the front yard where I could see my parents from my room talking outside.
Yeah.
And then just like a movie, my dad turns.
Yeah.
Beams his eyes across the entire interior of the house and into my bedroom.
Like the
from the front yard.
Like the Clint Eastwood sort of slow-mo. Like, yeah.
And then he makes eye contact. He goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He walks in. Everything's slow motion. Everything's terrifying. And all of a sudden, he's like, meet me in the backyard. And I go, this is how I die. I go to the backyard. And the reason why I wanted me to go in the backyard, because we used to have those old... the old tanques and the washing boards, My mom used to wash everything by hand.
Oh.
Right? We didn't have washer and dryers, right? So
my mom did
my
too.
My mom would grab the clothes and wash it, She would
that board with like
the thing. But back then, she would just use the same clothes to because we didn't have that was the fancy version.
Yeah.
It had like the ribs.
The ribs, yeah. Uh-huh.
It was just like simple tank with drain and then the tank on the side with all the water. So she, she put half a coconut, boom, water, water, and then rinse, and then hang. My dad took me over there to that place, grabbed this keychain that had like one of those shoelaces that went like spiral, and they had like a little slack at the end. He dipped it in the tank, put me to hand my hand out, and then whack one time. And you know that like scream that is like a dog whistle?
I would
you know,
imagine
somebody
so.
hits you at the top of your head, and you're just in your body is screaming, but now the sound is not coming out.
I see.
That's what I was experiencing. Whack.
Yeah.
It's like your face is making the face, the voice is coming out, but voice is not coming out, and then slowly a tiny little voice starts like bleeding through your vocals.
Were you like?
And all of a sudden it's like a full-on scream. That's how painful that was.
Wow. I never heard of that. I've never heard of the shoelace, a wet shoelace on the knuckles. I've never heard that.
Heavier.
No, I get why, but I've just never heard that. It's very creative.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was passed down like this.
Well, I mean, it's either that or like, power cable. Or like they just rip down one of the wires that you hang your clothes on, or la correa, right? Like one of those two. Yeah. But I will say, like, it only took that one time, and I never again.
Yeah.
And the idea is that like they just have to understand there's consequences to their actions, and I think that's important. And that's one thing that I feel like the Latino community has. They all explain to you 3 times what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
right. It doesn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You get strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, and then when the chancleta gets
right, or the belt. Was that a conscious like decision in terms of the parenting style with Amanda when you guys first got?
It was like what you and I were talking about. All of a sudden, it just woke up in you. Like all of a sudden, it uploaded from your parents.
Yeah.
It was,
and she was with it, like that same.
Well,
we've
had the conversation, like, where are we at with this? What happens when this happens? What happens when this happens? And we're both like, I guess we're gonna find out when it does.
Right.
So we didn't really have a plan for it, but we had a philosophy.
Yeah.
That you have to reason first. Somebody has to understand that, and just taking the TV away, it's not enough.
Right.
Like they have to truly understand what just happened, And, at this early age, it's very primitive. It's very small. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
For them, it's just they can't control the emotions. They don't know the measurements, And you got to meet them where they're at so you can really communicate. That's what I think. But how did it happen for you?
We Elsie and I, we come from very, very similar backgrounds. We grew up a couple of blocks from each other. So the parenting style just fit right in because it was basically the same. Our parents disciplined us the same. And so we had discussions about what we liked about it, what we didn't. Right. And you just kind of learn as you go along, man. There's going to be trial and error. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be stuff that works, stuff that doesn't. And then eventually you just sort of figure it out. Right. I think that sometimes growing up old school, I think that the disciplinary aspect of it is sometimes the scale is unbalanced, right? It's tipped a little more to the disciplinary aspect, And I feel like that's no good because then I feel like the kids rebel against you, right? And then there's a form of resentment that settles in. Sure. But then if the scale is tipped the other way and it's like just too much love and no discipline, then sometimes kids tend to walk all over you.
Yeah.
So I think that we decided really early on that there was going to be a healthy balance between the two.
And you never needed to use it because obviously your kids felt like they were kind of in line with the energy you were putting out.
Yeah, the energy. That's a really good description of it. We set a tone, we set an energy, and kids aren't perfect, right? Yeah. But for the most part, they got it. And I felt like we implemented enough of that healthy balance that it motivated them to fall in line.
Yeah. No, we feel I feel like we have a very similar situation. Nakano has really taken to that frequency. There's no fire drills in this house, so that's one thing I really will say, that it's beautiful to see that Nakano has just really comprehended. And I will say it's probably the gift of being a girl. Yeah. She has developed so quickly. She's so smart.
Yeah.
She's so intuitive, and she, like, for example, like, I'll tell you, this tells you everything. She's 4 years old. She comes up to me. She goes, Daddy, can I have some of this candy? But after I have my food, because otherwise I'm going to have a tummy ache.
she knew what you were going to say, what your response was.
And I was like, okay, honey, that's a really good idea. Okay, let's do that. Absolutely, you can have that.
Yeah.
I mean, so like the fact that she has the sophistication to be like, I'm gonna predict what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna do it anyways, but I want to have this.
Wow.
It's like,
where does she get that foresight?
She got that at 3 years old.
Yeah, right? Like, where do you get that foresight? Like, you're so aware of...
I think repetition, right? It's like you say it a few times and you're like, honey, you can have that, but you have to have some food, because if you have that on an empty stomach, your tummy can get upset.
Yeah.
And you say that in a few times, that she's immediately like, I don't want to get a tummy ache. And, she doesn't have a sweet tooth, but she wants candy, but she'll have like the one bite and then she doesn't finish it. She wants ice cream, but she'll have like the 1-2 scoops and she doesn't finish it. So I think like for her, it's like kind of the ceremonial thing of having something that kind of like makes her happy, and I think it's very cool that she like practices that, but she doesn't excessively do it. So
how do you feel about, and this is where we differ, my kids are older, right? So like I was bringing them up before the sort of the social media, in the invention of social media, right? Like, how do you feel now having a 4-year-old and a newborn? It's just so different. Like, people ask me, how would you have been raising your kids? I don't know. I don't know how I would have been, right? Because it's like social media is such an integral part of even their social circles, right? And them being young and being kids and being teenagers. And so how do you strike a balance with that? Or obviously you must not be dealing with that yet, right?
Not yet, but we are constantly talking about it because, she has other friends that already have like little
Really?
phones.
Wow, at that age, 4, 5 years old.
And tablet in their hands.
Oh, right. Where they're watching like cartoons and stuff,
dude,
right?
Like, there's people in her life right now that like, they come in to hang out with her and they go to a corner and they're just watching
the tablet
the entire time for like 8 hours.
Wow.
So, and like it's a preference, right? Like some parents are okay with that. Parents are monitoring what they're watching, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to delay that as much as possible. She watching a movie is a decompression reward. Not like you ate your food, now you get to watch a movie.
There you go.
We don't do that, right? So it's kind of like, we're going to eat our food, we're going to get ready for bed, and then we'll see if it's late or early, and then if it's too late, we're going to go to sleepy time. And if it's early enough, then we can watch a few minutes. And oftentimes it's a little too late, right? It's like closer to 8, and you're like, well, we got to go down. And so she understands that. She understands that, maybe she got distracted and kind of burned some of the time before she got ready to go to sleep. And so I remind her, so honey, you were running around a lot, you were playing a lot with your other toys, and therefore now we don't have enough time to watch the, a little bit of the movie. And she's like, okay, Daddy, you're right. And then, so she's like very conscious of that.
Yeah.
But it is a struggle because I know that it's coming, right? I know that there is a tidal wave of not wanting to miss out on what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
Especially when your friends are talking about it all the time. You don't want to be the odd person.
It becomes part of the social fabric of her.
So I think to me, I'm going to try my best to delay the arrival of that as possible, as late as possible.
Yeah.
She still loves reading books. She's 4.5. She likes reading a book before she goes to sleep. I like telling her stories about this young princess named Nakano that lived in a mountain and had a friend, a unicorn, who could fly, and she went down to the village and saved the town, and she was the smartest and brightest and most powerful young princess of the land, and so I would tell these stories, and she's like thinking about it, and then she fought a dragon, and she overcame that and saved the people, and so I could tell her all these fantastical stories, and she loves this.
So you're regulating sort of the TV time, movie time with books. And,
it's okay to listen to a story, and it's okay to read a book. So I think she doesn't right now. She's not like, I want to watch TV, I want to watch TV, I want to watch TV. She wants to play. She wants to connect with people. Like if I'm in the office, she wants to go play with, with Leo, our producer. She wants to play with Lauren, our executive assistant. Like she wants to connect with people right now, and so we're trying to really expose her to as much of that as possible. But to your point, like, who knows when all her friends are like, "Did you see this?" and she's like, "No."
Yeah, or the images of when she gets older, right? The images of what her peer group is saying she should.
And even
look
when she gets her cell phone, Freddy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell her, always rather talk on the phone than text somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta keep that alive. Your ability to communicate with another human, receiving the energy, feeling each other's moods. Like, talk. If you want to use a phone, call somebody. Don't just text them. And I'm gonna try to see how long she can go with continue to communicate with people, because that's how you develop your ability to conversate and have real life conversations with people that are not hidden behind a text chain.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was talking to a kid, we'll say. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm hanging out with my friends this weekend." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Are they coming over to your house, or are you going there?" He goes, "No, we don't go over each other's houses. We're going to hang out online."
Right.
And it blew my mind. I was like, "That's how you hang out?"
Yeah, what's fun in that?
Yeah, that's how. And he was looking at me like I was crazy. Like, yeah, that's how we do it now.
Right.
It blew my mind that the kids. I'm sure not all kids in this generation, but a lot of them sort of lack that
Totally.
like social interaction, and they'd much rather do it in like chat rooms, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Well, I mean, we wish all the parents at home, all the serenity, all the peace, all the happiness, and we're definitely trying to cultivate it. We don't have all the answers here, but we're trying to figure it out as we go. And thank you to everyone who related to the chancleta analogy.
Look it up. And for those of you who don't know what it is, look up chancleta.
Yeah, it's a mystical artifact from our ancient years.
Mystical artifacts.
I think it dates back to the Aztecs, actually.
Yeah.
That's where the chancleta was born.
But where they perfected the throwing style, the chancleta throwing
if
style.
You like Those Amigos, share with a friend, tell them where to watch, tell them where to listen to, and if this episode was helpful, we love you guys. Thank you. This is Wilmer Valderrama.
This is Freddy Rodriguez.
And you watched and listened to Those Amigos. See you next time.